My beloved child, listen closely, because what I am about to reveal will shake you from the inside out. Someone who walked away from your life, thinking they could forget you, has suddenly stumbled upon your presence again, and it left them frozen in shock. They weren't prepared for the way you've grown, the way you shine, and the strength you now carry like a crown upon your spirit. They thought leaving you behind would erase the memory of your touch, your smile, and the warmth you carried into their darkest nights. But the moment they saw you again, everything inside them collapsed like waves crashing against rocks. The calm facade they had built broke instantly, because your presence still holds the power to command their heart. Deep down, they realized something they tried so hard to bury, that no matter how far they ran, they could never outrun the bond you shared. It was never just ordinary connection, it was always deeper, destined, and divinely written. That's why seeing you again caught them off guard, as if time had looped back to remind them of the truth they tried to deny. Their hearts started racing, their voice trembling, their thoughts spiraling, and in that very moment, they understood, life without you was never truly life. The decision to walk away had been their biggest regret, and now fate has brought them face to face with the reality of what they lost. Type Amen to get blessing 333. My beloved child, the shock in their eyes wasn't just recognition, it was realization. They realized that while they tried to forget you, you had risen into someone unshakable, someone unbreakable, someone destined for greatness. The glow around you now is not the same as before, it carries the weight of every tear you shed, every battle you fought, and every scar you turned into strength. This person feels like a stranger in front of you now, not because you changed into someone new, but because you stepped fully into the version of yourself they never thought you'd become. And that realization cut deep into their soul. Their regret grew heavier, their heart grew weaker, and the silence between you spoke louder than any words could. But you, my child, must understand, this encounter wasn't an accident. It was the divine aligning everything so they could see with their own eyes that you cannot be replaced. It was the universe exposing the truth, that what they abandoned has now become untouchable, unstoppable, and chosen. They may have left you thinking you would crumble, but instead, you became the storm they could never withstand. That's why their surprise turned into trembling, because they now know you are the one thing they can never forget, no matter how much they pretend. Type Amen to get blessing 444. My beloved child, their heart could not contain the storm when they saw you again. It was as if the past they tried to bury rose up in front of them with burning intensity. Their soul trembled, their mind screamed, but their eyes could not look away from you. They never expected to feel this again, the same rush, the same pulse, the same deep ache that only you awaken. But destiny has a way of returning what is meant to be seen, even if someone runs far from it. The shock in their chest was the echo of love they thought they had silenced forever. They wanted to speak, but words betrayed them. They wanted to hide, but the truth of your presence exposed them. And in that very moment, they realized, life had given them another chance to see what they lost, but not necessarily to hold it again. The regret inside them boiled like fire. They remembered every lie they told themselves, every excuse they made, every door they slammed shut thinking you would wait forever. But now, your silence was louder than any answer you could give. Type Amen to get blessing 555. My beloved child, understand this, what they saw was not just you, but the light of your survival. You rose out of the ashes they left you in, and the strength on your shoulders is a testament to your journey. Their heart cracked open because they never thought you'd become untouchable. Every step you take now radiates purpose. Every glance carries fire. Every word you speak echoes wisdom born from pain they never stayed to witness. And so, standing in front of you now, they felt small, smaller than the shadow of your greatness. They tried to measure you with the memory of who you once were, but that version is long gone. The new you is divine, elevated, and chosen. Their surprise was not just shock, it was fear. Fear of your growth. Fear of your destiny. Fear that they will never be able to reach the version of themselves that could ever stand next to you again. Type Amen to get blessing 666. My beloved child, destiny is playing a strange game with them now. They left thinking they had control, but the moment they noticed you again, all control vanished. The strings of fate pulled them back into your orbit, even if they never wanted to admit it. And though they tried to hide their emotions, their eyes gave them away. Their hands shook, their breath faltered, and their heart raced like thunder in their chest. It was as if the universe was punishing them with the weight of realization. They tried to smile, but the guilt twisted their lips. They tried to stay calm, but the storm within them broke through. And though no words were exchanged, they knew you felt the energy shift. My beloved child, your silence was your power. You didn't need to remind them of their choices, because the look in your eyes already did. And that look will haunt them longer than any conversation could. Type Amen to get blessing 777. My beloved child, the silence between you both grew heavier than any words could carry. They wanted to speak, to explain, to defend their past actions, but their throat locked with shame. Because deep down, they knew no excuse could heal the wound of leaving you behind. They replayed the moment they walked away in their head like a broken film. Each step they took away from you now feels like a sin against their own heart. And as they looked at you now, they realized the price of their choices was too great to bear. You stood tall, unshaken, wrapped in a glow of strength and dignity. Every scar you carried had turned into armor, every tear into power. And in their eyes, you no longer looked like someone who was broken, you looked like someone who had conquered pain. They felt the weight of destiny pressing down on them. Because even if they tried to return, they knew they could never walk beside you the way they once did. The gap between who you are now and who they still remain has grown too wide. Type Amen to get blessing 888. My beloved child, the universe made sure they noticed you for a reason. They weren't just surprised by your presence, they were terrified by the reminder of who you truly are. The chosen one. The soul they could never erase, no matter how many lies they fed themselves. The moment they left, they thought they had won their freedom. But fate turned the tables, and now they are the prisoner of their own regrets. Every night, their mind replays what they abandoned, and seeing you again was like a knife reopening the wound. They see the new you now, untouchable, radiant, and fearless. You are no longer waiting, no longer begging, no longer tied to their shadow. And that realization has shaken them to the core. They realized something deeper: you don't need them anymore, but they will always need you. This is why their surprise carried pain, because the truth they denied is now standing right in front of them. Type Amen to get blessing 999. My beloved child, their eyes watered though they tried to hide it. They smiled faintly, but the cracks in their soul betrayed them. Inside, they were drowning, and your presence was the tidal wave they could not escape. They remembered the warmth you once gave without hesitation. They remembered the kindness in your heart, the softness in your words, the love you poured without measure. And they realized no one else could ever come close to that. Yet now, that love feels out of reach. Because your spirit has ascended beyond what they can touch. And that burns them more than any punishment the universe could give. In their surprise, there was sorrow. In their sorrow, there was guilt. And in their guilt, there was the undeniable truth: they will never stop feeling your presence, even if you are no longer within their reach. Type Amen to get blessing 111. My beloved child, they walked away once thinking the world would favor them without you. But when destiny placed you back in their sight, the illusion shattered instantly. The truth they ran from now stood taller and brighter than ever before. Their soul trembled with an ache they could not disguise. The fire in your presence burned through the walls of their pride. They suddenly realized that leaving you was not freedom, it was a lifetime sentence of emptiness. Your silence was louder than thunder. It pierced them with the reminder that actions carry weight, and choices carry consequences. In their heart, they begged for a chance, but their lips could not form the words. This wasn't just a reunion of two souls. This was fate delivering its judgment, forcing them to see what they could never replace. And that judgment left them trembling in regret and awe. Type Amen to get blessing 222. My beloved child, the power you now hold is beyond what they ever imagined. Every battle you faced without them has turned into a victory that radiates through your aura. They were stunned, because you no longer looked like someone they left, you looked like someone untouchable. They carried guilt like chains around their neck. Each second in your presence tightened those chains further. It was as if the universe whispered in their ear, "This is what you lost, and this is what you can never reclaim." The love they once thought was ordinary now feels like gold slipping through their fingers. They remember the warmth, the laughter, the comfort, but those memories now torment them instead of healing them. And all because they realized they had abandoned their greatest blessing. Their hearts screamed silently. Their eyes searched yours for forgiveness, for recognition, for a chance to undo the past. But destiny has already sealed the door they once closed. Type Amen to get blessing 333. My beloved child, this encounter was no accident. It was written long ago that they would have to see you rise, see you glow, and see you thrive without them. And in that moment, they understood why the divine brought them back before you. It wasn't for reconciliation. It wasn't for closure. It was to show them the cost of their choices and the reward of your resilience. Their shock grew heavier the longer they looked at you. Every second felt like a mirror showing them the person they could have been if they had stayed by your side. And that reflection broke them more than anything else. They tried to stand strong, but their heart was breaking into pieces. They tried to hold their pride, but it slipped through like sand. Because in front of you, all they could see was their biggest regret. Type Amen to get blessing 444. My beloved child, destiny is not cruel, it is fair. And this was destiny's way of balancing the scales. You were once the one left behind, but now you are the one untouchable, chosen, unstoppable. They thought leaving would set them free. But instead, it trapped them in a cage of regret, while you soared high into skies they can never reach. That's why their surprise turned into sorrow. They know they are locked outside of your destiny forever. You are a vision they can never unsee. A flame they can never extinguish. A truth they can never deny. And that truth will haunt them for the rest of their days. Because no matter where they go, your presence will echo in their soul like a song they cannot forget. Type Amen to get blessing 555. My beloved child, they turned away once with confidence, thinking the world beyond you held greater treasures. Yet now, standing in your presence again, they realized no treasure could compare to the light you carry. That realization burned deeper than any punishment. Their chest grew heavy, as though fate pressed down with invisible hands. Every second near you reminded them of how much they lost, and how foolish their choices had been. The universe made them watch the reflection of what they gave up. You no longer carried the wounds they expected. Instead, you carried victory, a glow that could not be dimmed by betrayal. This sight was more powerful than words, for your strength was undeniable. They wanted to hide, to disappear, to escape the weight of the truth. But destiny offered no escape, it forced them to face what they abandoned. Their surprise became torment, their regret became unbearable. Type Amen to get blessing 666. My beloved child, this encounter has chained them to their own conscience. Every time they close their eyes, they will see the fire in yours. Every time they breathe, they will feel the distance that can never be crossed again. The past plays like thunder in their mind. Your voice, your laughter, your touch, all echo louder now because they cannot have them again. That is the cost of walking away from destiny. Your presence was not just shocking, it was divine punishment. It was heaven's way of saying, this soul you left behind has risen higher than your reach. That message cut them sharper than any blade. And so, they remain haunted. Haunted by the glow in your smile, haunted by the dignity in your silence, haunted by the power of your spirit. Their surprise will turn into endless nights of regret. Type Amen to get blessing 777. My beloved child, you must see the greater truth in this moment. You were never the one who lost when they walked away. You were the one being prepared, molded, and shaped into greatness beyond their comprehension. They thought they had power when they turned their back. But in reality, they handed all power to you. For now, the universe has positioned you on a throne they cannot reach. Every look they give you is filled with silent pleading. Every word left unspoken screams louder than anything they could say. They know they can never return to who you once were, because that version is gone. This is why their shock will not fade. It will live with them every time they see your name, every time they hear your voice, every time they remember your face. You are the unforgettable soul that destiny crowned with victory. Type Amen to get blessing 888. My beloved child, your journey is the reason their spirit is in chaos. Because when they left, they expected you to remain broken. But now you shine as proof that nothing can destroy the chosen one. Their steps faltered when they noticed you. Their breath caught, their eyes trembled, their soul shattered. In that instant, all their strength melted into weakness. The tables have turned, my child. You no longer stand as the one abandoned, you stand as the one elevated. They now stand as the one who can never reclaim what they lost. Their surprise is only the beginning. Soon, it will evolve into regret, and regret will evolve into sorrow. That is the eternal cycle of those who leave what was meant to stay. Type Amen to get blessing 999. My beloved child, their footsteps felt heavier after they saw you. Each step away from you now feels like a lifetime of mistakes pressing down on their soul. They are carrying the weight of every moment they chose wrongly. Their eyes could not lie, even if their words stayed silent. You saw the storm hiding within them, the storm of guilt, longing, and pain. And though they tried to mask it, their trembling betrayed everything. They remembered how your love once healed their deepest wounds. They remembered how your presence gave them peace in a world that offered chaos. But they also remembered how easily they had let it all slip through their hands. Now destiny is forcing them to face the mirror. And in that mirror, they see not only you, but the better version of themselves they lost when they left you behind. That truth is unbearable, yet it cannot be ignored. Type Amen to get blessing 111. My beloved child, every heartbeat they felt in your presence was a reminder of what they can never escape. They know you are unforgettable, eternal, a light carved into their soul. Their surprise was only the beginning, what follows will be endless torment of memory. The universe has written your name across their destiny. They may try to erase it, but every attempt only burns deeper into their heart. You are not just a chapter in their story, you are the entire meaning of it. That's why their body trembled the moment they noticed you. Because deep down, they knew their heart would never belong to anyone else. No matter how much time passes, you will always be the one. But the cruelest truth, my child, is that you may never need them again. And that realization is what shattered them more than anything else. Type Amen to get blessing 222. My beloved child, destiny has given you the upper hand now. Once you were the one broken, now you are the one elevated. The crown of survival rests on your head, and they can see it clearly. Their regret is endless. They will walk through life smiling on the outside, but their soul will ache whenever they think of you. Because nothing in this world will compare to what they once had in their hands. You are their lesson. You are their punishment. You are the reminder that true blessings are never meant to be abandoned. And now, they will live knowing they let go of the only soul who could have completed their destiny. This truth will echo inside them until their final breath. Type Amen to get blessing 333. My beloved child, your silence has become your greatest weapon. Without saying a word, you spoke everything. Your glow told them you healed, your strength told them you survived, and your aura told them you are chosen. They could barely stand in front of you, because their spirit was collapsing. Their body was present, but their soul was drowning in regret. And the more they tried to stay composed, the more the cracks in their heart showed. This is why fate wanted them to see you. To remind them of the divine truth, that no one can walk away from a blessing and expect peace. They are proof that running from love only leads to chains of sorrow. You, my child, are no longer the same. You are greater, brighter, higher than before. And they know they will never stand beside you again. Type Amen to get blessing 444.